It's often stated that Colombo Captain Dominick Mimi was murdered after he drunkenly insulted crime boss Carlo Gambino in a Brooklyn restaurant. But was this really the case? Welcome to our channel, Inside the Secret World of Mafia Titans, where we bring you detailed historical snapshots of the American Mafia and other organized crime. Feel free to subscribe if you like that sort of thing. Today, we're going to take a quick look at the murder of the greatly feared Colombo crime family captain Dominick Mimi Scialo in the latter part of 1973. It is said that Colombo crime family captain Dominick Mimi was drunk in Gargolos restaurant in Brooklyn when he spotted Carlo Gambino, the boss of the crime family that still bears his name. For some unknown reason in his drunken state, Mimi Scialo, the greatly feared Colombo mobster, allegedly became aggressive and abusive to the famous crime boss. What exactly Mimi Scialo said to Carlo Gambino is unclear, with some sources reporting that it was something along the lines of, "You fucking old man, who do you think you are?" while others, such as former Mafia associate Joey Cal, would state that Mimi Scialo called Carlo Gambino a jerk, as seen in the following interview. But Mimi had a terrible problem. He liked to drink, and when he drank, he didn't care who the fuck you were. You could have been called Gambino. And if you walked into the restaurant where he was at and he didn't like the way you looked, he'd say, "Hey, he looked like a jerk car, but he was drunk. The liquor was talking for him." And this was a situation that actually happened in a restaurant in Coney Island Carl walked into, and who's there falling on his face but Mimi? Now Mimi has his own crew, 20-30 men who worked for him, and because he insulted Carl, it was decided that this man has no respect. Respect is a big thing, and he had to eventually die. Regardless of what exactly the drunken and aggressive Dominick Scialo said to Carlo Gambino, reports suggest that the crime boss didn't react to the insults, and even tried to calm the clearly inebriated Scialo down. After the Gambino incident, there were allegedly rumors on the street that Dominick Scialo was a dead man walking, and a few weeks later, in January 1974, Dominick Scialo disappeared and was never seen alive again. In October 1974, the remains of Dominick Mimi, captain in the Colombo crime family, were discovered buried in the basement of the Auto Social and Athletic Club on President Street in South Brooklyn. Reports indicate that FBI agents and police questioned numerous mafia members in connection with the murder. Mimi, along with another unidentified individual, had been shot in the back of the head in what authorities described as a gangland execution. The discovery was made after FBI agents acted on a tip regarding the possible burial of Joseph Colombo Mafia family captain in the club's cellar. It's widely believed that Greg Scarpa, a Colombo mobster and informant, provided information about the location of the body. The FBI referenced conversations overheard at the club discussing the burial location of the victim. According to court documents, the FBI received information in February suggesting that Mimi had been murdered and buried by the club's undertaker. During a conversation at the club, one individual mentioned Mimi's name, prompting another to confirm that Mimi was indeed buried in the cellar. It's widely believed that Greg Scarpa, a Colombo mobster and informant, provided information about the location of the body. The FBI referenced conversations overheard at the club discussing the burial location of the victim. According to court documents, the FBI received information in February suggesting that Mimi had been murdered and buried by the club's undertaker. During a conversation at the club, one individual mentioned Mimi's name, prompting another to confirm that Mimi was indeed buried in the cellar. The body was found with valuables, including an expensive gold wristwatch and band, as well as a gold St. Anthony's medal, but no cash or identification. Yesterday later, Assistant Medical Examiner Milan W. disclosed that Scialo had been shot once behind the left ear, a typical execution style, as noted by the doctor. Dominick Mimi, also known as Dominick Scialo, held a significant position as a captain in the Colombo crime family, and was nicknamed the King of Coney Island. He rose through the ranks under the guidance of Colombo captain John Sonny Franzese. Scialo was a notorious figure in the mob world, and was implicated in multiple homicides. FBI files indicate that Scialo was suspected of orchestrating the attempted hit on Larry Gallo in 1961, despite not being present during the event. Additionally, he was allegedly involved in the strangling of Anthony Dominick in 1958, leading to his inclusion in the FBI's top 10 most wanted list. Scialo was also indicted for the murder of a young man and his teenage associate in 1958, which further solidified his criminal reputation. After evading authorities for over a year, Scialo surrendered to the Kings County District Attorney's Office in July 1959, and the prosecution against him was subsequently dropped due to insufficient evidence. In the late 1960s, Scialo served as an acting captain under Sonny Franzese, and by 1973, he had his own crew under the leadership of Dominick M. Scialo. Dominick Mimo's crew included prominent figures such as Robert Barbari, Paul Dio, former Apache Family Captain Harry Fontana, Philip Fontana, Lawrence Lampsey Jr., Frankie the Sheik, Macchio, Salvatore Pereira, and Michael Savino, among others. Scialo's crew also comprised numerous loyal associates, including Frank Binimelli, Gano Tommy Barusa, John Coiro, Frankie the Beast, Valangler, and Harry Jr. Maguire. While Mimo was generally respected by his crew and fellow mobsters, his behavior turned abusive and violent when intoxicated. It's rumored that his drunken insults toward crime boss Carlo Gambino led to his demise, but his murder likely stemmed from various other reasons. Following the shooting of family boss Joseph Colombo, the Perso faction emerged as the dominant force within the crime family. Despite Carmine Persico's imprisonment, many believed he still wielded influence, especially with his brother, Thomas Della Carmine, acting as the family's consigliere. Dominick Gallo's powerful position as a captain made the Perso faction wary of his potential to seize control. Information provided by Greg Scarpa to the FBI suggested that Perso became enraged over Scialo's recruitment of young tough individuals for his operations. Fearing that Scialo might attempt to take over the Colombo family, concerns among older members of the Colombo family regarding Scialo's psychiatric treatment were also noted in Scarpa's information to the FBI. However, the primary reason behind Scialo's murder appears to be his unauthorized attempt to hit Colombo soldier Lawrence Larry Lampsey. According to an FBI file dated January 29, 1974, Scialo was viewed as a liability to the family due to this incident, leading to his eventual demise. According to a source on January 29, 1974, older members of the family were aware that Scialo was undergoing psychiatric treatment, which they believed made him too unpredictable. Additionally, Scialo personally killed an individual named Miguel Cosmos, a bookmaker associated with Larry Lampsey, whom Lampsey was supposed to eliminate. When Lampsey voiced his dissatisfaction, Scialo shot him. Subsequently, Harry Fontana put out a contract to the Perso crew to eliminate Scialo. Fontana, a former captain during Joseph Pacus' leadership, still held influence within the family. Further information on the Larry Lampsey incident and Scialo's involvement can be found on the LCN BIOS website. The website indicates that Scialo's crew was suspected of carrying out several unsanctioned hits on his behalf, including the murder of Miguel Cosmos on December 10, 1973, at a Coney Island social club. The victim, a bookmaker associated with Lampsey, was shot multiple times. Lampsey, after lodging a complaint with Colombo leadership, was himself targeted 3 days later at a Brooklyn barbershop, surviving a gunshot wound to the chest. The newspaper reported that Carlo Gambino, a prominent figure in the Mafia, was displeased with Lampsey's shooting, indicating Lampsey's strong connections within the mob. In January 1974, Dominick Mimi disappeared, allegedly due to a contract handled by feared Colombo mobster Charles Moose Panarella, or one of his associates. Ultimately, it seems the unauthorized hit attempt on Larry Lampsey sealed Mimo's fate. Following numerous transgressions by the Coney Island-based captain, confirmed by Greg Scarpa to the FBI in February 1974, the FBI file indicates that on January 31st and February 6, 1974, a source was contacted regarding recent turmoil and potential leadership changes within the Colombo family. The source revealed that Dominick Scialo was indeed killed on a contract sanctioned by Harry Fontana and approved by Carmine Persico. Earlier details provided by the same source had highlighted this arrangement. It was noted that the Lampsey incident was the final straw, triggering Scialo's demise. Other Mafia families, including those led by Carlo Gambino and Funzi Tieri, had expressed concerns about Scialo's behavior and past actions. Share your thoughts on the Dominick Scialo murder in the comments. Thank you for watching, and subscribe our channel to further unveil the secrets of Underworld Mafia Titans.